Now, there's a breaking story about the media that I have to tell you about, and that is this. Politico interviewed me a day or so ago, and they then went to interview the wallbanger. Apparently, the article will be out as I speak tonight. I don't know when. Politico is going to release the article tonight. I don't know what they were going to write. I didn't tell them what to write. I know the game. I know Politico is sort of to the left of center, but I figured, look, I can speak for myself, and usually when the people listen to me, they actually hear me and they like me. That's what happened with the New Yorker. That's what happened with the Daily News. When they actually listen to Michael Savage, they come to like me because they hear what I'm saying. They like the versatility. They like the intellect. They like my humor. Okay, so then they went and talked to Wallbanger. And here's what happened. I'm going to read you the article. He just counterattacked ahead because he refused to let them run any interview with him because he wanted to control the editing process. In other words, he's more maniacal than Obama. Obama may use a teleprompter, but the Wallbanger is so thin-skinned and stupid that he actually told a reporter for Politico they can't run any of his comments because he wanted final control of what was said about him. Can you believe this? So I want to tell you something, and I want you to mark this down. Everything that Hannity says about Obama is true about him. And by the way, most of what the so-called right wing says about the Democrats is a mirror reflection of what they themselves are doing. Make no mistake about it. It's a very thin line that we all walk on, and many people don't even understand what they're doing. And especially a guy of such thin skin who's had it all to himself all these years. Remember, he never had any competition. Now that he has competition, he's freaking out. So listen to this. He goes to his friends at Breitbart. Breitbart is run by some of the worst people on the planet. They're not Andrew Breitbart. It was taken over by a bunch of shrill thieves, in my opinion, one of whom is a lawyer who used to work for the former syndicator, with whom I had a long lawsuit. This guy is one of the lowest scum on the planet, this lawyer. And I told my lawyer that this man was a dangerous, evil man. I'll let you know who he is one day. So Hannity runs to his buddies at Politico, and here's what he says. Listen to this. This is a big story. It's going to be a huge story by Monday. Exclusive. Politico tries to manipulate Hannity comment on Michael Savage. I'll read you what Politico wrote. On Friday, Politico was set to release a puff piece on Michael Savage. Now, let's stop right there. How could it be a puff piece? I don't know them. It's a Democrat liberal website. So how could they release a puff piece on me? In other words, it was too complimentary for the thug, for the Catholic school thug, Sean Hannity. And I'll tell you a little bit more about him as time goes on. Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Six-Pack. On Friday, Politico was set to release a puff piece on Michael Savage, the host tapped by Cumulus to replace talker Sean Hannity on its affiliates. In the process of putting together that puff piece, Politico contacted Hannity for comment. After attempting to manipulate Hannity's comments repeatedly, Hannity withdrew them. Now they appear exclusively at Breitbart News. Now, why would he withdraw them exclusively and give them to his friends at Breitbart? Because he wanted to control what they published. He's no different than any of the left-wing hacks ruining the country. And then he goes on to attack Cumulus and all the stations he was thrown off. Then he attacks the owners of the network as the worst operators in the history of radio. Then he attacks me. And then he attacks me by bringing things up that are long forgotten by everybody. And then he goes on and says things that are completely false. And this shows you what's going on, how desperate he is. It shows you how frightened he is. And it shows you how manipulative this thug, this schoolyard bully is. Asked for comment by Politico, Hannity responded by offering a fulsome explanation of his thoughts on Savage. He provided those comments to Politico. Politico then demanded he edit those comments down. That's because they knew that they were false. After Hannity complied, Politico then insisted it would not run the edited comments in full, but would instead pick and choose which portions to report. Hannity, understanding the politically biased editorial process at Politico, declined. And then he goes on to attack me for my age and my intelligence and my education. Isn't that amazing to you? Isn't it amazing to you that a man who poses as a conservative would attack a man who's been around longer than he has, a man of far greater education and intellect than him? Isn't it sad that you see who this man really is? A greedy, low-life schoolyard bully. That's all he ever was. That's all he ever will be. And let me tell you something else. Now I'm going to really dig my heels in. If I didn't have a reason to get up every morning to do my show, I have one now. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. He finally has competition, and he's freaking out of his mind. He never had competition before. Never has he had anyone to compete with. Well, now he does, and he is running scared. And who does he run to? Those shrill gangsters at that website that used to be a fabulous website before Andrew Breitbart was found dead. It was taken over by a bunch of criminals, in my opinion. In my opinion. Gangsters, money-grubbing gangsters who have no credibility whatsoever. It's the Savage Nation. You want to talk about this? I don't know if you have anything to say because the Politico article hasn't come out. It will be out tonight. I wish it would come out while I'm on the air in this hour because I'm dying to read it. I don't know what they said. He makes it sound like I work with Politico. I never heard from them before. So I gave them the best I could. I don't know what they were going to write. I didn't call her up the next day and say, oh, by the way, let me see what comments you got of mine. Oh, I don't want those comments. I only want these comments. Oh, no, you can't have those comments unless you have all the comments. Oh, you left this. I wouldn't do that. Only Obama does that. Only Eric Holder does that. And I guess now it's standard operating procedure for those who call themselves conservatives and wrap themselves in the flag. Like, Porn Hannity. Or shall we call him Porn Vanity? Because he works for Fox News, you understand why I call him a pawn and why I say vanity, because that's all he's ever had. He was a good-looking boy who went very, very far in his, boyish good looks until eventually the portrait of Dorian Gray started to come out on the air, and people saw him for the older man that he was, and they listened to him hem and haw and ha and who and chech and watch the TV show tonight, and any minute and we have Ann Coulter we'll be on TV tonight, and don't forget to tune in tonight exactly when the show is over. And cross your legs and this and that. Now we have Ann Coulter every minute the same show, so they threw him off the air. That's all. Gone with the wind. Can't he be dignified about it? Everyone has to lose. Once eventually you go up, you go down. The stock market goes up, it goes down. People's careers rise and they fall. What does he think? He's God? He's very much like Obama. Very egomaniacal, very thin-skinned. I heard for years from people in the media how desperately afraid he was of me. The minute I started calling him Wallbanger, he went crazy. He knew somebody was finally onto him. People ask why I call him Wallbanger. It's self-evident why I call him Wallbanger. That's all I'm going to say about this feud, this media feud that's going on. My producers just called to get a copy of the Politico article, and they wouldn't even give us an advance copy. He said, we get to see it when the audience does. That's fine with me. I know the rules. Apparently, Hannity wants to control the news. He doesn't want to be part of the news. He wants to control the feed, just like Obama and Holder does. So just remember what I'm saying to you tonight. History is being made tonight in the media. You're finding out that this guy is no different than the people he criticizes every day. He wants to control what people are writing about him. Okay? It's that simple. Do we have any calls on this topic? I really only want to talk about this for a while. I'll do the news if you want. I have plenty of news out there. Plenty of news. 855-407-282. Does anyone want to comment on the Savage Hannity feud or not? We could do that. I mean, if you'd like to do that, or the worst, how about the 15 worst human foods for your dog? I mean, I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm waiting for one call on this topic. I don't want to do anything else. I'm not interested in it. My blood's boiling. Now I'm in a fight, and I want to win. What he doesn't understand is I'm very competitive. He may ridicule me for my age, but he doesn't understand something. Age is an advantage when you're in the media and you're in radio, because I'm not working on my good looks. I'm working on my good brain. And all he's got is the flashing lights, the rented suit, and cheap guests who cross their legs. It's that simple. It doesn't matter whether they're man or woman. All they do is cross their legs. Who are the regulars that go on Wallbanger's show? Let's see. I think it's Ann Coulter, and then every other day it's my good friend Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, the Michelle Bachmann of the right. It's my good friend. How are you, buddy? Oh, we'll have him on tonight on television. As soon as the show is over, be sure to tune in. Yes, the Great American. What grown man would call himself a great American in an age like this? What grown man would call another man a great American but a fool? Las Vegas, Dennis, on KBET, welcome to the Savage Nation. I know you're calling about the feud. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Savage. Well, you are a true American. Let's start with that. So if I got to call one out, it's going to be you. the integrity, the truth you put forth, of course you get the hate from these talking heads, the people that are serving their own interests, working for ratings, and they don't really care anything about us. So just a pleasure to be on the phone with you and to have you.
All right, well, I'm glad for your support. I am. I'm not asking for anything other than you got to understand what's going on here. I finally got under his skin because apparently Politico liked me too much, and he wanted to control what they wrote about him, and they wouldn't let him manipulate the editing process. By the way, I don't even understand how he got a copy of what they printed because I never asked for them. I wouldn't have the nerve. It's like a reporter interviews you. The standard procedure is you wait and see what they write. You don't call them up and say, let me see what you're going to print, and then threaten them, which is apparently what Wallbanger did. Wallbanger said, no, you can't have it because I don't like what you've said about me. I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen. It tells you everything you need to know. I never called Politico. I don't even know what they said about me. It could be very negative for all I care. Guess what? The sun also rises. Whatever they say about me, I will still go to sleep tonight, and I will still get up tomorrow morning if God wants me to get up tomorrow morning. My life doesn't live and end by what's on the Drudge Report or Politico or MichaelSavage.com or the Daily News of the New York Times. How can you live for that? Doesn't this man have a life outside of the camera? I don't understand it. Ego, my God. Narcissism, my God. He's no different than Obama. If this keeps up, by the way, I think he's going to destroy his own career with this hatred that's coming out of him. His hatred for a man who is far superior to him in every way is eventually going to bring him down, I'll tell you that. Blake on WBOB in Jacksonville, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Michael Savage, it's good to hear you during the daytime. I listen to you at night, sir. Thank you for the drive time. You are so much above of this. You can put him to bed by the good work you do. And I just urge you just to let him rant and rave or do whatever he wants to or get past it. Just shut him down by all the good things you do on your show, sir.
Well, that's nice, Blake. And let me say this. He's going to destroy himself by doing this because what he's sounding like is what he actually is.
Yeah, but, Neil Board shot himself in the foot by all this nonsense that he goes on the radio, and that doesn't need to happen to anybody else. We need all the people on the same...
Wait, say that again. Who shot themselves in the foot?
Fighting the right people, not the wrong people. Let him do it.
Hold it, sir. I didn't hear you. You said who shot themselves in the foot?
Neil Board. All he did was go bitch about all sorts of different things. Man, we got stuff to deal with.
Well, he used to attack me as well, Bortz did, and he wound up losing his show. He's a good friend. Isn't he a good friend of the Banger?
I don't know.
I think they share a condo somewhere in a retirement community in Florida, or the relatives do. I don't know whether they're near each other or whatever. Thanks for the call. Look, give me a year, and I'll give you America. Of course his audience is larger than mine right now. How could it not be? I just started 3 weeks ago. So that's like a non-starter. You got to give me a year. You got to see my affiliates are going to grow and his are going to fall. It's that simple. No schoolyard bullying, no hateful rhetoric about 30 or 40 years ago. My performance will speak for itself one way or the other. It's offensive, by the way, and it's not positive for the listener. George, last call on this on WABC. Go ahead, please.
Mike, they're afraid of you, Mike. I've listened to the other Wallbanger for years. I stopped listening to him. I'll tell you something funny. If you remember about 10 years ago when Limbaugh's hearing was going, that's when the giant leprechaun jumped into talk radio. They went after him, too. They pulled...
Who? Wait, who did?
Hannity went after him.
Wallbanger and Leprechaun hate each other. That's a well-known fact. At least that's what I hear. I can't verify it, but the thing about Leprechaun, and I have to say this, is he's an educated man and far more intelligent and dignified than the Wallbanger. I have to say that. And he had the brains to leave radio and focus on what he does best, which is TV. But the Wallbanger is so greedy and stupid that he doesn't even understand when it's time to leave. I mean, when you're losing, you get out. You don't wait until the stock market crashes completely. And let me tell you something. His day has come and gone. I'll be right back. When I see a dolt like this getting so defensive, I got to tell you something. It's embarrassing for him. And I got to ask you a question. Why is Hannity so defensive about Savage? The Politico article should come up, I hope, during this hour. If not, well, I won't be on the air to talk about it. But you got to understand, I was interviewed. I didn't ask them what they're going to write. I always hope that they get the whole thing. I hope they're going to make me look good. But no one asks for a transcript. But apparently the Wallbanger asked for a transcript, fought with them when they insisted on having editorial control, and he said, I'm not going to let you publish any of my words. I'm going to go to my friends at the Breitbart. Wow. So now you look at the most searched terms on Politico, even though the article isn't up yet. Number 1, immigration. Number 2, Michael Savage. 3, Chris Christie. 4, Huckabee. 5, playbook. 6, trade. 7, Wendy Davis. 8, unemployment. 9, farm bill. And number 10, Wallbanger. You have to ask yourself, why am I number 2 and Wallbanger's number 8? And there's something else by number 10. If you look at the ratings of this show on the internet, on the radio on the internet, my show is 1, then it's 2. It's either rush or ride. At least that's what it's been. It could go down. Wallbanger's way down there. They don't listen to him. The younger people who have some brains, they don't want to hear him anymore. His star has fallen. His ship has sailed. His time has come and gone. And he's got to understand it by lashing out at an older, wiser, better broadcaster than he isn't going to make him look any better or sound any better. I guess he never read Kipling. I guess he didn't read Kipling in the carpenter school, in nail gun school. They didn't have any copies of Kipling around. They must have had Playboy. But Kipling wrote, if you can keep your head when all those around you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, then you'll be a man, my son. So there's a big hullabaloo going on now. Politico's about to release an article where they interviewed me, Michael Savage. Then they went across the street to interview the banger, the Wallbanger, who got thrown off all of the great stations in the country. And he tried to control what they said about him. He withdrew the quotes. Then he went to his friends, the wonderful folks at the website that seems to be just nothing but a PR agency for him and his cronies. And he's saying, I don't know what he's saying. Who knows? It makes no sense. Whatever he's doing, it's not making him look very good. That's all I can say. And you got to ask yourself, why am I talking about it? Because I'm being attacked. And I don't like being attacked. And I'm not going to be attacked without fighting back. And I got to tell you this. Ask yourself why Hannity is so defensive about Savage. There's only one answer. Because he's running scared. Let's take some calls. Peter on WABC. Welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Hey, let me tell you something. His Vanity's call screeners are the ones who turned me off to the show and proved to me it's a bunch of bull hockey. Every time I call, the only time I got through, they say, are you a liberal? And I say, hell no. And they got hung up on.
They would hang up on you if you weren't a liberal?
Yes. In other words, the guy was fishing for a controversy. He's trying to manufacture...
Oh, to make him look tough and strong?
Right.
He wanted just a bowling pin to knock down.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that's okay. It's better than having someone to call and say you're a great American. Don't you find it offensive for a grown man to call another grown man you're a great American? It sounds like Art Carney and Jackie Gleason in something in the Honeymooners with a raccoon hat. It's like a special club, the Great Americans Club. Smacks of AARP. 855-400-7282. Doesn't it like the AARP has a special hat with a raccoon tail on it? Dan in Pittsburgh, welcome to the Savage. I can't see the buttons here. Dan, welcome to the Savage Nation from WJR. What's on your mind?
Yeah, here's what happened. You exposed Sean as a faux conservative. You're like the kid in class that knows all the answers, and he's the jock that peeks on your paper to get a good score for his football.
Well, I'm not going to do this. Maybe I'll do it on Monday or Tuesday, but I want to ask you something. Can you repeat one line Hannity's ever said in 20 years that you remember? Has he ever coined a phrase? Has he ever written a title? Has he ever said anything that's memorable? The answer is, I don't know. I can name 10 things that people know that I've written. I can name 10 titles that they know. I can name 10 phrases that I've created that have now become currency in the political world. And I rest my case on that. He doesn't have any originality. So his time has come and gone. It's that simple. But I wish him luck, by the way, on television where he belongs. I actually think he doesn't even belong on TV. He should run for office. He's made for the world of politics. He's exactly like them. Hannity would be a perfect politician. He's got all the attributes: vain, shallow, defensive, thin-skinned, combative, needs a teleprompter or else he hems and haws, hangs around with them. He's perfect for the political world. And I would vote for him, by the way, because at least, we'd get 40 cents on the dollar with him as a senator. He'd have to hold some of his credibility together. I'd vote for the guy. He should leave the media already. It's time. His time has come and gone. The Hannity ship has sailed. The sun is set. He should be ashamed of himself attacking a man 20 years a senior just because I'm better and I took over the best stations in the country. He should be congratulating me. But what more do you need to know that a guy tries to control an interview? I've never heard of it, by the way. Now, Obama does that. See, here, I want to end with this, and I'm going to end it with this. We keep hearing Obama won't give interviews. We keep hearing Obama uses a teleprompter. We keep hearing Eric Holder goes to a college that's friendly, gives a speech, and walks out, won't take calls. And we're offended by it, right? Now we hear that Politico interviews Michael Savage. Savage doesn't call and say, let me see what you wrote about me. Or if not, I'll pull a hissy fit and say you can't publish it. I didn't do that. I didn't even call him. I don't know what they're going to say. It could be horrible. Then they call Vanity, Porn Vanity, and he says to them, do this, do that, run the whole thing, don't run the whole thing, run part of it, run some of it, run all of it. I don't know what. But then he says, I'm taking back all my words. You can't publish me at all. I'm going to go to my friends. One of whom was a lawyer who worked for the former syndicator of Michael Savage. He'll really smear him and make me look good. Now you understand what happened to Breitbart after he died. After Andrew died, look what happened. A bunch of greedy frauds took it over. Yeah, right. Great men. Great Americans, all of them. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to take even one more call on this subject unless I have to. Dave in Reno, welcome to the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Michael Savage, you're the best. Sean Hannity is a pretender. He's been a parrot of Rush Limbaugh for years. Even Hush Bimbo has been stealing from your show forever.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to say anything because Hush is my lead-in on many stations, so I have to be nice to him. But he's well known as an idea. Let's say he borrows good ideas. Let's put it that way.
All of the time, Michael. And you're the best. And they're finished. They're not smart enough to deal with you.
See, I wouldn't accuse Rush of taking my ideas because of the terrible deficit he has with hearing. He doesn't actually hear my show. It's written up for him, I think, and he doesn't even know that he's repeating what I said the night before.
Michael, 2 days ago, you talked about the interview in the New Yorker, and the very following morning, Rush was talking about his interview with the New Yorker. So
well, they didn't actually interview him. He was only mentioned in the New Yorker, so suddenly it became about him. It wasn't really about him. They never profiled him. I'm the only talk show host actually that I know of who's ever been profiled in the New Yorker. He was not profiled. He was making it sound like it was all about him. They only mentioned him in passing. One word about him already. It was a whole show. Okay, look, that's the name of the story. There's a very competitive business. Look, if I'm overly combative today, you have to understand something. And I got to say it to you. Many of you love me. Many of you don't know who I am. I've been up and I've been down. I've had my ups and my downs. Right now, I'm on an upswing in my career. And I've learned that when I'm attacked, I'm going to fight back. One thing you learn about me is I will fight. I fought England for 3 straight years. I haven't won. My name is still on the ban list. I'm not allowed to enter England for things I allegedly said. I spent over $1 million fighting a syndicator to get free of a contract that I felt was wrong, and I won. And right now I'm being attacked with slander, lies, innuendo by a man who doesn't have the capacity to fight on the basis of either talent or intellect. And this is probably not the last you'll hear of it. It may be a few more days of it, and it's a distraction. Frankly, we shouldn't be attacking each other because we have so many real battles to fight. But I'm not going to let this guy who's 20 years younger than me get away with this crap. He's not going to get away with it. And if he thinks that his age is an advantage by saying I'm older, this and that, he doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He has no idea who he's entangling with here. I'll be right back. It is the Savage Nation. Look, the thing to remember is this. Let's look at the big picture. People on the right side of the aisle can at least disagree with each other, even if it gets, let's say, pretty hot and even vicious at times. When have you last seen anyone on the left attacking each other? Never. You say, well, they're smarter. No, they're fraudulent. No one in the media on the left has ever had a war with anyone else on the left because they're all part and parcel of the same Communist Party USA. Symbolically, the CPUSA runs the entire media. This is actually a good thing. It just shows you what I've been telling you is true all over again. I'm not a member of any party. I'm not a member of any group. I'm not a member of any elite club in the media. And I'm a real threat to the status quo, both left and right. And that's exactly why he is going crazy. That's exactly why Hannity went nuts today. with his vicious, stupid innuendos that he's putting out. I mean, stupid, just idiotic. No intellect, nothing based on talent, nothing based on substance, just a moron in a schoolyard trying to be a bully like he's been his whole life. KCMO, big, powerful station, by the way. Andrew, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Dr. Savage, it's an honor to speak to you.
What's on your mind tonight?
With you getting on the drive time, I think maybe finally the right can win an election.
Well, I hope people said to me, by the way, Politico asked me, what do you hope to achieve while you're on the air? That's an interesting point you just made. I said, I hope that I can have an influence over the outcome of the election coming next November, because it may be the last real big election that we have, in the sense that if we can retake the Senate, even if it's Republicans who we don't agree with entirely, on some principal issues, we're going to have a safer, saner country. And that's why I am so hopeful that I can have an effect on the nation in that regard in drive time. And I believe that's why Hannity is very defensive. Hey, look, guys, let's be clear. A fact is a fact. He was taken off 52 Cumulus stations. Everybody knows that these are the best stations in the country in terms of size and power. It doesn't mean the others aren't wonderful. Some of them are wonderful, but they're not the crown jewels that he once had. And he's very angry, and he's striking out not only at me, but at the owners of the network. He's saying things that any sane man would never. Let me say this right now. I want to show you how uncontrolled he is and how unthoughtful he is, and the things he's saying, how stupid they are. When you attack the owners and operators of a network as powerful as Cumulus, what do you think the owners and operators of Clear Channel Premier are thinking? If he's willing to attack these guys who he fed off for so many years, what is he going to say about the owners of Clear Channel and Premier a few years down the line? This man is out of control, and he's showing himself to be unreliable and not credible. He's lost his credibility entirely. He has no control whatsoever. I don't care if he goes to the State of the Union. I don't care if he interviews Obama. He's no different than the people he criticizes. If he wants to control the interview in Politico and they won't let him, and then he screams like a little kid, like a little girl, I'm taking my words away. You can't have them. I'm taking my toys away. You can't have my words. I'm so important. I'm showing that. I'm going to go over to Breitbart because I know all of them, and they're easy. They'll do anything I want. Well, that's what he just did. So let the chips fall where they may. Just, I keep saying, give me 15 minutes and I'll give you America. Why don't you give me 15 months and let's see what happens? Of course his audience is bigger than mine now. I just started all over again. How could it not be bigger? I'm shocked to find out that he says I have only 3.5 million listeners now. I'm thrilled. That's amazing. That's phenomenal. First of all, those numbers are very fuzzy. No one actually knows how many people listen. There's no meter. But if he says I have 3.5 million, that's great for a show that started 3 weeks ago. How many of you out there would like to have an audience of 3.5 million people a week? I would. That's great. That's a phenomenally large audience. I'm very honored. I'm glad he did the research for me. Abigail, KCMO, you're up on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Oh, hi, Dr. Savage. I just wanted to, I've been listening to you, and I'm so glad you're back here in Kansas City. And I just wanted to say that I know exactly what you mean. When somebody says something that is incorrect about me or offends me, I'm an Aries. I'm the nicest person on the planet, but offend me or attack me, and I will not let go until I set the record right.
That's right. That's correct.
Good for you.
That is correct. I'm an immigrant son. I started not with a silver spoon in my mouth, but a lead spoon, and I'm not going to let anybody choke me on the spoon that's in my mouth right now. And this man is saying things that are absolutely invented because he has nothing to fight with that's of any substance.
Sad.
It's sad, actually, when you see a career melting down like that, Abigail. Let me send you Trickle-Down Tyranny. I'm in a good mood today. I would send you Trickle-Up Poverty. I don't think there are any more copies. Would you like a novel, Abuse of Power? Maybe that's a better. Do you like novels or nonfiction? Give her a book. What's the difference? If you got to read your Kipling. If you can keep your head when all those around you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, then you will be a man, my son. I love that poem. That's a beautiful poem, and it really applies to me in times like this when I'm under great stress and being roundly attacked, viciously attacked by a shill like him. 855-400-7282 is the phone number. KSFO, my hometown of San Fran. I'll even say Cisco tonight. I'm in a good mood. I love my hometown. Pat, on KSFO, KSFO in my hometown of, I can't even say the correct way. I got to slow down. San Francisco. Pat, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Michael, when I'm at work, I can't get your station, so I was listening to the Wallbanger, and he said several things about you, about swimming naked in Fiji with Ginsburg.
Let's stop with that. I mean, what does that say to you? I know that photograph. I was swimming in a pond in the woods while I was collecting plants with 50 Fijians, and Allen Ginsberg was there, and so was Lawrence Ferlinghetti. And so the snapshot was cropped to show me in the water with the pervert. And what, all the Fijians were not in the picture, so it means they weren't there?
The people working for you are working behind the scenes to stab you in the back because nobody works for you likes you. You should listen to it. It was yesterday at 1.
Oh, who cares what he says? That's so childish. Who cares about that? By the way, that slander about me and Ginsburg swimming in the Fiji Islands, do you know who originally posted that lie? That was none other than Media Matters, an organization that is funded by George Soros. What does that tell you about Sean Hannity, that he would take a Media Matters smear that's untrue and use it as though it's the gospel? How could you believe a word this man says about anything to do with Obama? He has no credibility whatsoever. I never went back and said Sean Hannity said this, Sean Hannity did that, Sean Hannity was caught outside a woman's bedroom window. I never said any of those things. Who would make a statement like that? It's stupid.
He also made a big deal about you giving money to Jerry Brown, which you told us about.
That's right. I did give money to Jerry Brown. So what? I liked that Jerry Brown at the time funded a military academy in Oakland. I thought that was a great thing for him to do. So what? I shouldn't fund anybody who does anything right? He actually did something at that time that no Republican ever had done. So I reacted to it properly.
Humor, too, he said.
All right, that's all. Okay with what he says. As long as he gets the name right. Savage, S-A-V-A-G-E. KSFO, Lauren, welcome to the Savage Nation. Fire away. You got the last word on the program tonight.
Thank you, Michael. I just wanted to let you know that your age is to your benefit. I'm 25 years old. I heard about you from my mother-in-law and father-in-law who listened to you years and years ago, and I just wish you the best, and I know that your age is to your benefit. So,
by the way, most cultures revere older people who have wisdom. Apparently, in the bullying schoolyard of whatever school he went to, whatever horrible school he went to, he hates his elders. What a disgrace he's become.